Welcome to Not Just a Transaction, the podcast series hosted by experienced real estate authorities Nick Prefontaine and Zachary Beach. Each week, the hosts bring you expert guests to help you navigate the many creative options available for buying or selling a home, while cutting out the costly hurdles of a conventional real estate deal.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Not Just a Transaction podcast, your buyer and sellers podcast. Yes, you're hearing the voice of the better brother-in-law because we're going to be talking about buyers today. So I get to do the introduction, which is always a ton of fun. So today I get to spend some time here with Nick Prefontaine and his lovely glasses and lovely smile. If you have purchased a property from us in the past, you have seen that lovely smile. But today, Nick, today is a very important question because we get this quite often. Look, I am a tenant and I'm currently renting a house that I would like to buy. Why can't you, or your company, Original RE, structure something with the landlord? That way I can just buy it.
Well, Zach, I'm so happy you asked this question. It was almost like I teed this up and had you ask me this question. There are so many variables when it comes to this. First off, the rent, and I'm just going to be going over a couple of these bullet points. So the rent that you've paid over the past year, 2 years, 3 years, and we even have some tenants that are in properties 7 to 10 years. Unfortunately, none of that rent can be used towards your down payment. Now, there are a few reasons for that, and these come directly from the lender that is closing out these deals, closing out these buyers. So if you're doing that, if you're taking a portion of the rent payment, then there are several things that we have to do. We'll have to go in and analyze the property, look at the rental market. This is what the lender will have to do, and see what market rent is in the area. And quote unquote, I know this is verbal, so you might not be getting it, but the lender's going to have to go in and look at what market rent is in the area. Then depending on what it is, they can only give a certain percentage of that rent, of that market rent, credit towards your down payment. So the rent, let me see here. The rent that you've already paid, we can't use that. So you would have to come up with a whole nother deposit. And that whole nother deposit would have to be money that you've had set aside. Usually it's anywhere from 3 to 10%. That's how our program works, 3 to 10% of the purchase price. And we have a further conversation about it. If this is something that you're seriously considering doing and you have a down payment saved and you're living in the house, there's another problem. We're not realtors, so you can't just necessarily pick any house that you like and say, yes, I want to do a rent-own on that house. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that yet. We're not able to do that yet. But in the future, it might be a possibility. Just right now, we can only offer our wonderful rent-to-own program on the properties that we control because we're investors and we have to have equitable interest in the homes that we're offering out through our program. Lastly, I want to make sure everyone's clear because this comes up quite often. Tenants in houses want their deposit, want that to be where they think the price is, like they set the price. Unfortunately, that's another thing and another reason why it makes it more difficult because we would have to agree upon a price. So Zach, I didn't know if you had any other thoughts. I know this is a very abbreviated episode, but if you had any other thoughts on that.
Nick, have you ever had a conversation with me and I didn't have a thought or something to say?
Come on.
Yes, of course I do. I don't care what we're talking about. I got some sort of opinion. No, as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, well, that'd be really cool if I was a tenant and I could pick the property. But the reality is the only time that we can offer a rent to own, which you went over, was if we either control or own it. So even though you're living in a house that you really enjoy, we don't know if the seller would even be open to selling the property. I don't know if you're in a home that the seller's a professional landlord and he is an investor and he makes his monthly income on that, or is building his retirement fund through that. So there's a lot of variables that come into play. So if the seller is open to doing that, well, maybe we're halfway there, as long as the structure of the deal with the seller makes sense and we can then offer the property to you. Again, where it makes sense, where we're able to get some equity in the deal or in the property, and that way we can now offer you the property as well. So number one is we don't know if the seller will do it, but if he does, it will do it. We're still not sure we can make it happen, but at least we're one step closer. And then secondly, you as the buyer, you would still have to go through our entire vetting process because two reasons. One is we want to make sure that you're going to be able to qualify for a loan given the terms that we have with the seller, because we want to put everyone in a position of success. And number two is we want to make sure that you are in a position to qualify for a loan, period. At the end of the day, we don't want to just put any person in any property just because they like it. We do have commitments to the seller as well. And we have to make sure that all three parties, you as the buyer, the seller, and us, are all in a position for success. The other thing is, I know that you may then think, all right, well, if you guys won't do it, well, I'm just going to do it. Well, we actually did an episode on why sellers should not, unless they have experience, should not be doing rent to own on their own. And that's just because the sellers typically don't have the experience. Number one, we have over 45 years of experience in real estate at this recording, and have done hundreds of these, not only locally, but nationally with success. Meaning we've had the seller cashed out of the deal, and we've had buyers be able to become homeowners. So we have that experience that really sets everyone up for success. And then secondly, they don't have the systems and processes in order to make sure that you, as the buyer, are put in the best position possible to not only go get a loan, but to go get the best loans. So that way, when you become a homeowner, you're not stuck with some high interest payment just because you wanted to become the homeowner, but you're stuck in a really good position financially. So that way you and your family can enjoy this property.
That's right. Yeah, that's right, Zach. And I just want to make it, I touched on it in the last episode that we did together, that you were fortunate enough to grace us with your presence, the last episode, the one that
you are one lucky guy, huh?
The process, I said, the sellers out there, we bring our buyers through a very particular process. So I'm saying this, that we bring our buyers through a very particular process, in that buying a home is difficult. It's not something like, oh yeah, I'll just move into the property, I'll rent for a couple of years, and I'll decide if I want to buy it at the end. I'll have the option. It's a little bit more of a stringent process with all of our buyers, because from day one, we are treating you like you're the homeowner. So you're taking over responsibility for maintenance, repair, and upkeep, and you're responsible for all costs associated with the property. Over the past several months, I've been having several calls with past clients, both buyers and sellers, who have completed the deal and got their own loan when it comes to the buyers. And the thing that keeps coming up, and it's really gratifying to hear, is I asked them, all right, well, the last question is, how does life look like now for you, now that you officially closed on the home and you're able to move on with your life and everything? And they say, well, actually not much, because you treated me like a buyer from day one. So nothing really has changed. I guess I have less hassle, but not even that. I'm just making payments, instead of to you guys, it's to my mortgage company, or you guys and girls, because we also employ females. Thought that was very important to mention. Zach, back over to you.
Yeah, just stumbling here. Anybody, we're all inclusive. No, I just ended with this. If you're serious about becoming a homeowner and you need a rent-to-own program in order to get there, or deciding to utilize a rent-to-own program to get there for various reasons, then I would encourage you to go visit our website, look at the current properties that we have ownership of or control over, and go to originalre.com. That's originalre.com. And also, if you have any questions or you have a particular property that you're currently renting from that you think the the landlord would be open to selling, please go ahead and email us at contactus@originalre.com, and one of our teammates will give them a shout. It has been another fantastic Wednesday, hasn't it, Nick? And just time is flying.
Outstanding.
All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you next week, as long as they don't kick us off.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Not Just a Transaction. If you want to learn more on selling a home, buying a home, or resources to learn more, head on over to our website at originalre.com.